Welcome back to Big Boss Mare with Brandy Von Holton. Today, I have someone that has been such an instrumental person in our equine industry. I have Russ and Dina Brown with us today that are the owners of R Bar B in Topeka, Kansas. Okay, so Russ, tell us a little bit about your kids and when you got married, and tell me about this K-State, your K-State degrees of you and Dina, and just tell us about you.
Oh man, that's like 2 hours worth of visiting right there, but I'll condense a little bit. So my wife, Dina, and I, we actually met in junior college, Cloud County Community College in Concordia, Kansas. That's where all the C's come from. And we went through junior college there, transferred into K-State, and we both graduated from K-State. I have graduated with an animal science degree with a business option, and Dina graduated with an animal science degree with, did you have an option, Dina? Business. There you go. So we both had a business option. We got married shortly after. Actually, we graduated in May and got married in June. After graduation, we have 3 children, all boys, and they are 24, 21, and 16. I got that right without second guessing. So oldest one is Pake. Pake actually graduated from K-State as well, and we coerced him into coming back home for a while. I don't know if we'll get to keep him too long, but we're keeping him for now. And he's actually going back to graduate school, I think, in the fall. And then
so hold on one second right there. Oh, let's talk about and it's Pake. Okay, so first of all,
P-A-Y-K-E. Yep.
P-A-Y-K-E. So where did you get that name?
I dreamt it up. Honestly, I heard it somewhere. I couldn't say I dreamt it up. I heard it somewhere many years ago. I thought, that's unique. I like unique. We'll get to that with the third one, too. So I like unique, and I don't know, it just stuck, and when he was born, I said, nah, that's fake.
Okay. Now then, who has the highest GPA between you and Dina? Do you remember?
Oh, Dina for sure.
Oh, Dina for sure. Okay.
For sure. Yeah, no question whatsoever. Dina was the brainiac. I was the entertainment.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And now, so you have Pake, and he's your oldest. And then what is his degree in?
He has, it's ag business. Yeah, it's an ag business with an entrepreneurship. That's it. I think his master's is going to be in international trade and finance.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's your oldest son. What's your other 2 sons?
That's the oldest one. So the next one is Tucker Roy. He's the middle one. He is 21. He's also at K-State right now. He's actually a dual major, chemical and biological engineer.
Okay. And then your youngest son, he's still in high school?
Yes, the youngest one is Lakin. He's a junior in high school. And, Lakin is his name. That was the other interesting name.
You know, I haven't heard very many Lakins, but now, you know how like you think of a name as like either a boy or a girl? I've met Lakins that were boys or girls, you know, so like I always would have thought that as a boy name, but, you know, I don't know, like I've met girls named Charlie also, you know, and I think of that as a boy name.
And when we named Lakin, I hadn't really heard of any Lakins, and since I've met quite a few, most are younger than him that I've met, but we actually have an acquaintance that has a daughter named Lakin that we didn't know. It's actually older than our boy Lakin.
Well, and you know what? So I've asked some people about your boys and stuff, and here is what's been said to me, okay? And you can see if you agree with this, okay? I heard that Pike is like a wonderful business person. I heard that your middle son is like a brainiac, like crazy, like out of this world smart. And then your third son is very mechanical. Like he can do really well with his hands. That's what I've heard about your boys. What do you think about those descriptions?
I would actually say that's pretty accurate. Yeah. He has a head for business, for sure. Marketing, he loves marketing. The nuts and bolts of business, he really likes the nuts and bolts of business. Is a numbers guy in a different way, like not business numbers. Tucker likes how things. I don't know how to even say that because it's intriguing. Like he'll come home and tell us the components of something and how they all match together to make it do this, that, and the other on the chemical engineering side, and I just kind of sit there and stare and nod. It works out okay. I don't know what he's saying.
All right. Well, okay, so y'all...
And Lakin definitely more mechanical, and Lakin is definitely the more matter of fact of the bunch. Lakin is very cut and dried, very black and white.
That sounds like an old soul.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. So, let's talk about R bar B, okay? So first of all, R is for Russ, and then the bar, and then B is for Brown, right?
Correct.
Okay. I will tell you, the first time I came to R bar B was for a UHCA race, which is the ultimate, Ultimate Challenge Horse.
Ultimate Horseman's Challenge Association, yep.
UHCA. I was trying to put that C in that H. I was trying to swap it. So Ultimate Horseman's Challenge Association. So it's an obstacle competition, and then you had hosted it. That was the first time I'd been to R bar B, I do believe. And whenever everybody's like, so you have a store, and then you have a facility where there's horse competitions at. Well, everybody that was at the horse competition kept on saying, are you going to go to R bar B? Well, I thought they were saying O-U-R, like hour, but R, and then Barbie, like Barbie doll. Okay, so I was like, what is wrong with y'all? What are you talking about? Am I going to R Barbie?
What do people do here in the evening?
But I was like, well, so that's the way that I said your business name for probably about the first, 6 months, until I was like R bar B, because I wasn't used to saying brands. Like I would have thought that was a dash. So whenever I was seeing it, it was R-B. Okay, R through B. That's the way that I was reading brands at the time. I didn't know that that was a bar. So I was like not getting any cowgirl points at all, because where I came from, we didn't brand anything, and we didn't say brand, make a brand into a name. So it just messed me up for a little bit. And then I literally wanted like a blue ribbon whenever I realized that it was R bar B instead of R Barbie. So I do apologize about that. But we've had a very long relationship. Whenever my husband and I first opened Von Holton Ranch, we opened at the end of 2004. We did a soft opening, and we were only open like September, October, November. Then in 2005, we got selected to host this Great American Trail Horse Festival. And we actually we didn't have enough stalls, and we rented your, all of your stall stuff at the time. And now you've got so many, you wouldn't be able to do that. But at the time, we were able to rent those from you and come and get those. And we had enough stalls for our competition. We hosted, there was 197 horses on our facility for that event. Then that
was a little bit nerve-wracking being that early in the game, too.
Well, early in the game and large. We had people from 20 states and 3 countries at our horse trail riding facility in Mora, Missouri. We're located in Pettis County, which is where the Missouri State Fair's at. So this was like a huge event, but ACTHA was the organization that put that event on, and they have dissolved since then. It was kind of like their last big hoorah. But we had people here, like John Lyons was here, Guy McLean was here. We had a magazine it was called ACTHA Monthly. It was my first magazine cover, but they were here. It was a big deal, and you know what? And everything worked out. We had all of your stall panels, and then we had about 5 or 6 people that we freaking borrowed their round pins and made stalls out of it, because our stalls are covered, but we just needed additional ones. So I had that relationship with you. Then I have, you have employed or had people help you that are some of my most favorite people in the world. You have Christina Salicetti that comes around and helps. You have Linda that used to work there. What is Linda's last name? Sheets. Yeah, she was there for forever. And then I called the other day, Rusty Walker was there, and I was not expecting her to answer the phone. And then, of course, Lee Hart. Okay, Lee Hart is I was 33 years old, and he's the first person I ever took a horseback riding lesson with. So, and now Lee, we've been open. This is going to be our 9th year. He has done a clinic here, or multiple clinics each year, every year that we've been open at Von Holton Ranch. So I want you to spill the beans a little bit about Lee Hart. Do you have any crazy story that you could share about? Because Lee Hart is one heck of a cowboy. I mean, he was one of the wild cards to compete into that wild card for the Road to the Horse competition. He has been to the Calgary Stampede in Canada. He's won multiple EXCA World Championships. He's competed in the Mustang Challenge that's with the EXCA, and then a separate one. I mean, he has done all sorts of things. So I don't know. You got a funny story about Lee Hart, or just a story about him?
Some of the stories that I have about Lee Hart probably are best left untold.
Okay.
Because we might have got a little too ornery a time or two. Lee and I are pretty close. We talk almost daily. Probably the thing that I can say that's kind of fun is like we have a similar thought process, kindred spirits on road trips and travel and spur of the moment. So we are both pretty prone, where we were before he moved to Kentucky. We were pretty prone to a 4 a.m. phone call. Hey, dude, I need to leave in like an hour. I've got to run to South Texas and pick up a horse. What do you think? Yeah, let's go. So we've got a lot of road trip stories. We've spent quite a little time on the road together. Or hey, dude, I've had a day. I had a day yesterday. Let's meet at the outhouse for breakfast and just talk about life. That kind of stuff. I've got a lot of those good little Lee Hart stories. We actually, ironically, knew each other before we knew each other, way back in the day when Lee ranch rodeoed. I was ranch rodeoing as well, and we had competed against each other, and we assumed we met each other, but didn't really remember it until later years when life brought us back together more on a business level, and then we became really good friends. So we had met long before we met, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, I called Lee Hart after we had scheduled this interview with you and Dina, and I was like, tell me some stories. And then he was backing up so fast because he did not want me to say. And I'm like, what kind of stories do these guys have? Because he said the same thing, that, well, I've got some stories, but I ain't going to tell you none of them because those don't need to end up on the radio. So.
Well, I will tell you, they're not illegal or immoral. They're just fun.
No.
So.
Well, I could just see two cowboys just kind of getting in a pickle, you know. So
Yeah, that would probably describe it well.
well, and so the reason that I have so much respect for you and your wife and your family because y'all have been there so much for me. So I got my first mule, Jojo. Okay. I had never owned a mule in my life. Well, it's a little bit harder to fit him because he does not have a withers. He's like a propane tank with massive ears. Okay. So I had to this is a service that y'all provide to so many people, but I was actually able to bring my mule to you. And then I actually had Lee help me because at the time Lee was in Topeka. You were able to say, okay, what are you wanting to do? And then have a saddle that fit me. And then the saddle also fit my animal. And then I was able to, you had end up having 3 there for me. And I was able to try all of them. And then Lee actually got on my mule and tried them because at the time I was very novice. And Lee's like, okay, I really like this saddle. And so I was able to get that saddle now that I bought from you. I'm actually in my office, and it's on the cover of 2 magazines. It was a used saddle. You didn't, you could have had me be like, oh, these don't fit. You got to get a new one. But no, you had a used one that worked for me. That saddle's on 2 magazine covers because JoJo and I became the first 2 people in the world to win the advanced division at a mounted archery competition on a mule. So what if, you know what, in that saddle, I'm plus size and I've got a bigger belly, but it ended up being a cutting saddle that worked. It's kind of like for mounted archery, I don't need a cutting saddle, but I needed a saddle that fit my mule, and that's what ended up working out. So I know that we've brought all sorts of our boarders because we have a boarding barn in addition to our camping facility. And I've sold less than 10 horses. I mean, that's not really my jam, but then I end up keep on finding, because I see thousands of people every year that come to our events, and I find some nice horses. But we bring these novice people, most of the time the people I sell to, it might be their first horse, and then you're able to help saddle fit, and that's what Dina's done also, is being able to help us, and our clients are so happy because they have everything that works, and you've sold them new saddles, and they were able to get everything for a horse. Like, they didn't have a bridle, they didn't have a lead rope, they didn't have a blanket, they didn't have a front girth, they didn't have nothing. And they were able to walk out of there for under $4,000 and have everything, and it fit their animal. So how many people do you think you do that for in a month or in a year or in a quarter?
We do a lot of that. It really varies though, and a lot of it's weather related too. Weather, but we probably do 3 to 5 a week easily in the better weather parts of the year. In the winter months, sometimes it's only 1 or 2. There's some weeks you don't do one if the weather's really cruddy, But the saddle fitting deal is definitely a big part of our saddle sales. There's a lot of places to buy a saddle. We all know that. But it's kind of a nice feeling to be able to bring your horse, fit it, ride it. We have a round pen, we have an arena right here at the store. You kind of leave knowing that you've made a informed, wise decision, and hopefully you can just move forward and roll on. Check that off the list. Saddle off.
Well, and you know what? The people that I'm trying to educate about saddles, okay? Most people are like, hey, I've got a saddle and now I want to get a horse. And then I tell them, dude, buying a saddle before buying a horse is like buying a bra and then trying to find a wife that it fits, okay? You might get lucky, but chances are you're not. It's not going to work out. I see so many people that don't even know that there's a tree in a saddle. They don't understand about it just not fitting right in the shoulder. And like I've got a horse right now that's here that I had bought to sell, but it's got some shoulder issues, and I really think it's probably been from poor saddle fit for a long time. So the saddle fitting it's going to keep people safe. And I love that you will try used saddles on horses and new saddles. Depends upon what they want. You know, you could have easily said to people that I needed a new saddle, and no, you helped me find a very nice used saddle. So much props to you there, because you could have made more money off of me because I was unknowing at the time. So.
Sure. Well, and as corny as it sounds, that's not our goal. I mean, yeah, we want to make a living. So does everybody else in the world. But getting every dollar you've got is not the prime objective. We truly, care about you and your horse's comfort and such. You know, a happy horse is a lot more fun to deal with.
Right.
And that saddle fit makes a big difference, you know.
Whenever we first opened up our ranch, we were doing a little bit of guided rides, and I had rental horses, and I even came there and bought all of our saddles for our rental horses at the time. And now our relationship is just whenever I come there to help out people that have bought horses from me. But that is so minute of what we've done. You and I keep on seeing each other at these horse expos, like, for example, Equifest of Kansas. You are always a major player at Equifest of Kansas, and this year you are doing something about, like, the eyes through the judge or something?
Yeah, so that all came about kind of, it started on a whim, and I kind of committed before I probably should have, but that tends to be my MO sometimes. But I was talking with Justine, who is the head of the Kansas Horse Council, and they had added a day. So the Equifest of Kansas this year will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, instead of just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I was quizzing her about the concepts and a lot, why did we add the day and so on, more from a vendor standpoint than anything. And she said, well, that Sunday afternoon, evening gets so hectic, people trying to get out of there. We wanted to be able to let the vendors start tearing down earlier so that they had a little more time. But we didn't want to shortchange the people that were coming to the event. So they added Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be more like the traditional Equifest, and Sunday is going to be a shortened day, but it's free admission. So no charge to get into any part of it, which I thought was cool. Obviously, the concept there is a great day for people that maybe had thought about coming to Equifest, but just didn't really want to spend the money, or were curious, but not that curious. I don't know, however you want to say it. But so we're talking about that, and she's talking about their headliners and clinicians and so on. And I asked her, I said, well, what about Sunday? If it's free admission, it limits you financially what you can offer. And she's like, well, we haven't decided what we're going to do Sunday. And the light bulb goes off in my head. And so I said, well, just let us have Sunday. She goes, what do you mean let you have Sunday? I said, let me provide Sunday. Or not me personally, but let me put together Sunday for you. She took it back to her board after I explained to her what it was we were doing, which I'll get into here in just a second. And they approved it, and here we are. So we have a little group called the Kansas Horse Mafia, which is an EXCA affiliate, which is Extreme Cowboy Racers. And then the UHCA, which we spoke of at the beginning there, we kind of teamed up, and we're putting on a deal, and we're calling through the judges' and so that brings Lee Hartman to the equation. It comes full circle in this industry, it seems like. The morning will consist of we're going to call it a clinic. It's more of a demonstration, but we'll call it a clinic for for ease of terms. Lee and I will be emceeing the situation. We'll have 3 to 4 riders going through obstacles, and as they're going through, Lee's going to talk about how they approach the obstacle, how they execute it, and how they depart, things they could do differently that would score them a little higher. The good, the bad, the do's, the don'ts. The concept there's a lot of times when you go into a competition, maybe you don't know how you're being judged or how if you didn't know that if you would have entered that obstacle from a different angle, then you would have gave you a half a point. Little things that will help you maybe excel at the sport. We'll roll right out of that into a demo of different riders, all age groups. We have, I think, from 8 to 80, literally. All age groups will have a 2 to 3 demo riders in each age group, and then the crowd's going to get an opportunity to judge. And then there'll be prizes for the people that judge the closest to the official judge, which is me. So it ought to be a cool day.
So that extreme cowboy racing, I dabbled in that for a couple of years and went to their world championship as a novice. And, those Equifest of Kansas, I know that before, where's it at right now? It's in Salina?
Salina.
Okay, and then it was in Topeka before that, and then where was it at before Topeka? It was in Wichita. So one of the times when it was in Wichita, I was one of Lee's students, and he was doing these races, and it was 2 people at one time going, and you had to jump a barrel, and I had not ever jumped a barrel until like the day before that. Boy, I don't know if anybody's ever jumped a barrel on their horse, but my horn hit my tummy so freaking hard. I had the biggest circle bruise for forever. That extreme cowboy racing, like your horse, you have to have such good horsemanship. Your horse has to be able to do anything, and you never know what you're doing before then, except for I did know that I was probably going to have to jump a barrel. And not a barrel being upright tall, but a barrel laid over. Like, it seems like it's not that big of a deal, but in my mind, I was jumping like the Great Wall of China is what it felt like.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you're coming at it, it probably did look like the Great Wall of China, when you're novice to that.
Oh, yeah. I hated it. And then my horse, for some reason, thinks that he's a pony, even though he's like 15 too. So he overjumps everything. So by God, when we jump a barrel, we jump a freaking barrel. It's a big deal. But though I love Equifest of Kansas. Equifest of Kansas is actually pictures from, I was a presenter there. They've had me do lectures in the past, and then they let me do a mounted archery demonstration, and I actually was able to shoot fire from my mule at a canner. But they had loaded people up on both sides of the arena, so I had to canter the short distance across the arena and shoot fire. And it took me a few tries, but that's actually the grand finale in my second children's book. And that book made it to all 50 states within 30 days. So,
awesome.
Yeah, because every one of my children's books has a moral lesson, but we have different horses, and each horse is a main character of a book. Like the first book is called Adventures at Von Holten Ranch, KTM, because KTM was the horse that I used to do the extreme cowboy racing on. And his book is about how one person can make a positive difference in the world. And then the second children's book has Jojo, the mule, in there. So there's all sorts of pictures of the saddle that I bought from you in there. But his book is about finding your passion, and it doesn't matter what your outward appearance is to go for your goal. And then my third children's book that's coming out this year, and right now, I don't know when you're listening to this podcast, but it's 2023. My third book will be coming out, and it's about how having a bad childhood or going through a traumatic event does not define you as an adult. So that book is called Adventures at Von Holten Ranch Chalkboard, because that was the name of that horse. So anyways, it's a whole big series. So let's talk about let's talk about things that are at your store. So the last time I was at your store, the thing that was there was not a thing. It was a person. And Mo Brings Plenty, that is he's a Native American. He's got these long freaking braids. He's on the show Yellowstone, which is extremely popular right now. I roll up in there with a couple of people to get saddle fit because they had purchased a horse. And I look over there and I'm like, are you that guy from that show? And he's like, yes, ma'am. And then we took a picture together, but I think he was there. He had had a truck, a trailer, and he has a Mustang, I do believe. But I was not expecting to see Mo Brings Plenty, and that's his name, is Mo Brings Plenty, at RBRB. So,
yeah, we've actually known Mo for quite a while. Done a lot of saddle repair for him and stuff in past years, and then have gotten to know he and his wife more so in the last few years. But he had stopped by to just get some supplies, some saddle pads, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that was a big day for a lot of people. We were really busy that day, and so he got to meet and greet quite a few people. He's a genuinely good human being, just a really nice guy. Has a love for the equine industry, and he's got, besides acting, he does a lot of consulting, Native American consulting. He is a vast knowledge in that guy. Just a super good guy.
Well, and you know what? I tried to get him and his wife now. His wife is one heck of a cowgirl and just beautiful. And I've never met her in person, but I do believe that she won Miss Kansas Rodeo or something. I think she's supposed something. Is that correct with what she had won?
I believe that is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember because we did some saddle swapping that day, and I believe that was hanging in the tack room in the trailer with Miss Rodeo.
Yeah.
Kansas, I think.
Yeah. Well, I tried to, they don't know me from nothing, and I had tried to get in contact with him to do a meet and greet, because we have a wedding venue that my husband built, and we've actually won Missouri's Best Place to Get Married for the last 2 years. And it's a wedding barn that my husband built, because whenever we bought the land, our property's been in the same family since 1906, and we bought it in 2013, but nobody had lived on the farm since 1979. So there was a whole bunch of old buildings that, they had went through the Great Depression and all this, all this weathered wood, but then their peak had most definitely come and gone. Well, my husband, there were 8 buildings on the property when we bought the family farm, and he had to take down 5 of them to build a wedding venue. And so the fact now that it's been voted Missouri's Best Place to Get Married for the last 2 years, and my husband, it took him 10 months to build that wedding venue. It really makes my day. I would love for Mo Brings Plenty to come and do a dinner or something, but he didn't know who the heck I was. I mean, I just, I probably sounded like a super fan, hey, you want to come eat dinner with us? I promise I'm not a weirdo, but I am a little bit of a weirdo. But anyways, so that took me by surprise, and I was like, wow, whenever you see people on a TV show, you expect them to not be at where you're going to. You know what I mean? You would just not expect them to be there. But you know how cool that was for a Native American to have a Mustang? And then I was like, oh, wow. That, I don't know, it just kind of took me back, because back in the day, Native Americans were riding the heck out of Mustangs, I don't know, it's just real cool for me. I just never really thought about it very much. So what all do you have in your store? Because every time I come there, it seems like y'all have moved stuff, and you've gotten bigger, and you've gotten more stuff. So tell us about all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely is an ever-changing situation. We're constantly shuffling things around, making more room, trying to make it a little more user-friendly, easier to find, however you want to say it. I feel like we've hopefully kind of reached our footprint finally.
Okay.
We're 25 years into this almost. July will be our 25th year. So we'll be able to do something kind of crazy this fall. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll do something kind of crazy this fall for our 25th year.
Quarter of a century. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I mean, I bet y'all did you start at your house or in a garage or something?
Many moons ago, we started a traveling trailer. And then we started we opened where we're at now. We bought this place, moved here, and then we remodeled the chicken house, which is the original part of this building, is the chicken house. And then we built onto the east end or the west end. No, the east end was first. We built onto the east end first. Then we built onto the west end. Then we built a porch on the front, and then we built an entire building and attached to the back. Then we added on to the west end of that building, and then we added on to the east end of that building, and then we built another building in front, and that's kind of where we're at now.
I do find it like you're talking about, like, okay, we're finally at our footprint. So this year is our 9th year, and we went from 40 RV sites down to 34. But of those 34, 2 of them are primitive. So that means we have 32 electric sites. And so we had to get rid of some of our materials, and you purchased them. And so we're kind of like, we had to figure out for us the balance between insurance and commercial property taxes and the growth of our business. And we just kind of figured out that's kind of ironic because we've been expanding, and then we kind of just shrunk in one area to be able to elaborate into other businesses because we have like 4 businesses. And it's funny that you said that yours started with the chicken house. Do you know that the only remaining building that's on our Century Farm is the old chicken house? So we have it right in the...
Something tough about a chicken house.
Boy, I guess. But our chicken house is the last original remaining building on our property. So, all right. So tell us, because, you said that you want to make it more user-friendly. I don't think it needs to be any more user-friendly because every time I go in there, I buy way more than what I planned on. You need to make it less user-friendly. All right. So, what's your future growth?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, what's y'all's future growth for your business?
So, like you said, depending on when everybody's listening to this podcast, it's 2023 in February. And we're about 48 hours away from launching an online store to try to keep up with modern times. We're 25 years in business and have never had an online presence, which actually I'm pretty proud of, that we were able to, that we've been able to succeed and grow in a world that is very, very online, very social media driven. But we feel like it's time to join the modern age. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been about a 2-year process getting it ready. I thought it would be a 2-month process. Haha. That was not the case. But we're about there, and
hey, you were only off by 46 months, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. That's a range, way more of an undertaking than I ever dreamed. The dilemma that we ran into here was that everything was paper. We didn't even have point of sale. Like, we were old school. We kick it old school around here. Big cube tablet and a fat pencil. Like, we hand wrote all of our tickets. And so before we could have an online presence, we had to join the modern age in the store and put everything in point of sale, which means everything has to have a barcode. Everything has to have a SKU. Everything. And you've been here. So obviously it was an undertaking. I mean, an absolute undertaking. But we are in the home stretch of it now. Pretty excited about that. And, yeah, it ought to be fun.
You know what you're reminding me of is, well, two things. Your whole process of having to get everything digitized and barcoded, because you have thousands and thousands of items in your store. I mean, just the number of bits that you have in the store, the clothing items, the hats, the complete line of tack with all this variation. I mean, anything that you could go in there and be a city person and come out and be a country person. Like, they have everything there. They have purses, they have boots, they have jewelry. I mean, you literally have everything that you need from the person to the equine. I mean, everything. I have brought a mule to you. I have brought a Kentucky mountain horse, which is half Tennessee Walker, half Rocky Mountain. I have brought a Missouri Foxtrotter to you. I have brought an appendix quarter horse to you, like an appendix horse to you. And you have had something on stock that fit that animal. Okay. Like, that's some crazy variety. That is, so you have a lot of inventory.
I have a saddle addiction. That's what the problem is.
Oh.
I've been accused of that. So, but we try to keep between 300 and 400 saddles in stock all the time. New, between new and used and everything. So there's a lot of variety, and early on I was pretty guilty if I had stuff that I liked, only stuff I liked. And that was, many, many moons ago. And I had learned pretty quick that you also got to have stuff that maybe isn't your flavor so that you have other people's flavor,
Right.
That was a hard pill to swallow in the beginning was, not everybody likes the same things I do. That's hard to believe, but it's true.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, so what your business reminds me of is whenever I'm pulling my arrow back. So I pull back slowly, but then whenever I release, it's going to be, it's going to travel the distance. And I think that's what your business is doing right now. Is it, you had to pull back and go slow for a second, but I think your business is going to launch, especially with the online presence. So, for example, we're trying to upgrade and be some high-tech rednecks, okay? So this year we host this event called Chicks in the Sticks. It's an all-inclusive women's event. I tried to do a co-ed one called Hicks in the Sticks, but I only had one dude end up coming to it last year. And I try to be a quick learner. Maybe as the event grows, I'll go back to doing a co-ed one. But, and then people can book private events and do co-ed, okay? Well, this year we had it where they had to, last year I had the event announced, but then whenever I created a flyer and I put it online, it took 72 hours for the event to fill. So this year we have added where they had to fill out forms and stuff. And so on the Facebook post, I was like, if you're wanting to sign up, here's the order that I am going to fill from. I said, you can fill out this form, which it tells me everything I need to know about them, because they get a shirt, they get a custom wooden sign. We have a massage therapist come in. They tell me if they need a cabin, because we have 4 cabins, or an electric site. They tell me if they want to come in early, if they want to stay late. They tell me if they have food allergies. They tell me all this information, and now I don't have to take the phone call to do that. That event with the number of forms was filled up, and I had 9, okay? 9 of these Chicks in the Sticks, because I had some behind the scenes that I didn't announce the dates for overflow. By the timestamps of those forms that were turned in, those events were filled up within 6 hours, and I have almost 400 more people that wanted to come and do those events. So I'm now contacting them and saying, hey, if you want to do a private one, here's some dates that we have available. Or I actually release my schedule in November, but I don't put the flyer out until January. So if you want to be signed up for 2024, November 1st is when our calendar drops, and anything can be signed up for. So that online presence exploded our business. Like, it took me over a week to get off of the first day that everybody submitted their forms. So that right there, having that online presence is vital for the horse community because everything is done online. I mean, like, it's really rough, it's rough on us because we're not really geared like that, but we have to be geared like that to keep up with society. So,
absolutely. Well, and that's just how people find out about things now. It's just that is the way it is. So you either learn and grow or not, I guess, is the two options.
Mm-hmm. So you know what? With hey, let's talk about somebody that's around. They're in your state. Do you know Bull Parker?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Bull Parker. I think he's 80 or 81. He's around that age. But he's an older gentleman, and he will text you, or he'll call me, but he makes custom bits and spurs, and I am so excited because he's not into the technology, but I do love that he'll call me and stuff. But I have my first 2 bits coming in from Bull Parker, and man, what a gift to the horse industry he has been. So, do you know anybody that has a Bull Parker bit or a pair of spurs or anything?
Pretty much everyone I know has a Bull Parker bit or tank spurs because we all covet them quite close. I have several. Bull and I actually have known each other for years. He's another one that we do the old 6 a.m. IHOP once in a while to talk about life. And yeah, I honestly don't even know how many years I've known Bull. A lot of the years, and we trade back and forth and do some leather work for him and things.
Okay.
And then we trade out for work and such for bits.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. I like the trade.
Oh yeah, Bull Parker, what a gift, man! And I am so excited. And he's got me a couple of headstalls coming and 2 bits, and he designed them and sent me pictures of what he had drawn out. So I'm really excited about that. So you had talked about your business being online. Now, are y'all going to sell saddles online, or are you going to sell clothing? What are you going to sell?
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
That's probably part of what took so long. The entire store won't be online, but a big chunk of it will be. I don't know. I guess I don't know exactly how to answer that because I think it's going to be evolving. I think as we figure it out, when we launch it, we're going to kind of, like you talked about, a soft launch. We're going to kind of soft launch it so that we hopefully don't get overwhelmed with the process in the beginning, and then just keep growing it.
With all I'm thinking about is how genius it is for Pike to be getting his master's in international marketing or international trade or something.
Yeah, international trade and finance, I believe is what it's called.
I mean, like, wow, talk about a legacy. Is there a horse running?
That's my clock.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
It goes off every hour to remind me.
My husband and I, we're really trying to embark upon, we're post-COVID, and a lot of people went to homeschool or private school. And my husband is not really a cowboy, but he's a construction guy, and he loves to build. And I always tell cowgirls, like, don't marry a cowboy. You need to marry a construction guy so you can get a barn. But anyways, we have a business called Building with David, where we actually have a USA-made CNC, and then we have a USA-made sawmill coming, and we're putting in a kiln. And I have 3 college degrees. I've got a degree in biology with a minor in physics, a degree in criminal justice, and then my master's in teaching. And so David has designed these woodshop projects, and then has a completely USA-made project to be able to send to kids, and then we videoed how to build these small projects, and then I've wrote a curriculum to go with it. So what we have created is a homeschool version or a private school, or we can go to public schools also, but it's a kit and it's wood shop. So the schools don't have to have a wood shop, or the parents don't have to have a wood shop, and the projects build upon themselves, and they don't have to have all the fancy tools. So that's the biggest change for our business, is actually embracing the online as well. So anyways, I mean, like, isn't it weird how our businesses kind of parallel, and how we've worked together and known each other, and Dina's been on this the whole time and hasn't spoken hardly at all. And Dina is an amazing person, because Dina, because everybody wants to talk to Russ. Everybody wants to talk to Russ. And I've always, I got used to talking to you too, but Dina has been there the whole time, and she can pull out saddles and stuff for whenever we've had horses there and be like, okay, check out this. But Dina, do you prefer to be behind the scenes, or what's your favorite part of the business?
I'm definitely a behind the scenes kind of person.
Okay. So, Dina, I will tell you that my husband and I are go and whoa. And if it was up to my husband, he would never be in the spotlight. But then he loves all the inner workings of the business. But if it was up to him, he would probably just be in his shop all day by himself. And then if it was up to me, I'd be in front of about 500 people for about 12 hours of the day, being in charge of something. So he is my behind the scenes kind of person, because, before I was married to my husband, if I dated someone that was like me, it didn't really work out. But with us having that go and whoa, and him not liking to be in the spotlight, it's actually made it easy for him, easy for me, and it kind of works out. So, are you looking forward to the online business?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're
getting all the logistics. Just getting all the logistics ready.
Yeah, I think you are going to be so freaking busy. And you know what our biggest concern is with our online business is all the shipping. Shipping is going to be a nightmare. A nightmare for us, because, like, if a school district calls and they want 80 kits, like, we're just, and then an individual can call and just want one kit. So I know with y'all, with shipping saddles, but y'all are used to doing stuff like that right now, right?
We are, but it is definitely a struggle. That's actually this morning before we started talking. I was researching more shipping options and more shipping structures. Shipping is definitely a thing. Like, that is the last. Actually, that is the last step. We are ready to launch, other than shipping, and that's we've been a week exploring and studying shipping, trying to decide the direction to go there. So
right, and you know what? And you know what people think? They probably think, oh, he's probably cleaning a saddle and restocking bits onto the wall, and you're over here like, I'm looking up how to do shipping. And then I my TikTok presence has went from 8,000 followers to 43,000 followers in the last 10 days. And I have people that are I make custom planners, and I got the children's books and cups and stuff like that. And then we have a complete line of mounted archery equipment. And I had somebody from the UK wanted to know if I could ship. And I was like, yeah, I can ship. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, now I've got to figure out international shipping.
Can I ship?
Like, people think that I'm just, it's the winter. She must have time off. And I'm over here running so freaking fast during the winter to get, to get ready for a good year. So, okay. How do people find your business, and what's the tricks of the trade for being able to come in for a saddle fit? How do they find all of your stuff?
Well, obviously the online is going to be a thing soon. We are located at 3256 Northeast 39th in Topeka, Kansas. So we're kind of out in the country, as you know, but the people listening may not. We started our business right here on our place, and we have an arena out behind the store. So we hold events. Everything kind of happens right here, and I like that part. When we started this, like I say, I have a bachelor's degree in animal science with a business option, and all of my business classes, the very first thing they teach you in business is location, 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 which for all intents and purposes, our location makes zero sense, but it makes sense for us. It wouldn't be a very good place for a quick shop. I say that a lot. But it's a great place for what we do, because it's, you can whip in here with your truck and trailer. There's lots of room to park. You can unload. You can try saddles. You can ride up and down the road. You can go to the arena. I hope anyhow that people leave thinking that it was a very friendly experience, low pressure,
So you've got your physical location. Are you on Facebook?
Yes. So we are on Facebook. We have an Instagram. Everything's RBarbie or RBarbie LLC, I believe. Pake actually takes care of a lot of that because I'm technologically. I shouldn't say I'm technologically challenged. I just choose to be technologically challenged.
So what's your
marketing?
What did you say, Dina?
I said Pake likes the marketing part of it, the TikTok, the Facebook, everything of that part.
So where are people on your website, like RBarbie? Is it rbarbie.com?
Yep, it's just simply rbarbie.com.
And that's where you're going to have all of your store for selling? That
will be the online store.
Okay.
It's, right now, if you go to rbarbie.com, it's just more of an informational thing, but it will redirect here. Hopefully in the next few days, it will redirect. And when you type in rbarbie.com, it will pull up the full online store.
Okay. Well, and then our facility, my last name is Von Holton. It was Smith before I got married, but I married somebody with a difficult name, but it's VON, and then the second word is HOLTEN. So it's VonHoltonRanch.com, and we're in Missouri. And then we have Country Tough Trail Versatility that we host, which is just a competition series. And then we're the Country Tough Mounted Archers, and we have a complete line of stuff there. We have a website for Building with David. That is his at-home wood shop. And then Big Boss Mare is the name of this podcast. I have a website just for Big Boss Mare. And then I have brandyvonholton.com, and Brandy is spelled with a Y, and that has my business coaching on there, my children's books, my goal setting courses. I have all sorts of I just got picked up by, it's called Women in Agriculture. It's for Missouri, and I'm going to be their keynote speaker. But, this podcast, this is, it's won Missouri's best podcast for the last 2 years. And so far, as of right now, I'm in 49 states and 35 countries. So if you're in one of those countries, you should go to RBarbie, because this is a real cowboy, and because you do compete, or you do enjoy team roping. Is that correct? You're a roper?
That is correct, yeah.
You and
I am.
Your sons, do y'all rope together?
Pake ropes, yes.
Are you a header or a heeler or both?
I'm a header, Pake's a healer.
Okay. So this is a real cowboy, and this right here is a business that's been operating for 25 years, family owned, a husband and a wife and their 3 sons. So this is like the real deal. So anyways, well, do you have any parting advice or anything for the horse industry, or for people in general that are, wanting to come to your store, or people in general, about the things that you see?
I don't know about parting advice. As far as our store, I probably would just want to say that I would want everyone to know that everyone is welcome. I feel like sometimes in our industry, newcomers or beginners are very apprehensive, or maybe feel inadequate about coming and asking questions or whatever. And we take a lot of pride in we're not judgy. We're here for the better of the industry and the animal and the rider. So we get a lot of that. One of my favorite customers, new customers, is the one that walks in and goes, "I just bought a horse and I know nothing. Can you help me?" I love that. I like to welcome new people to our sport. I think there's something special. The old saying, "There's nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse or a woman," whichever. I think that holds very true. So I love to see new people influx into our sport.
Well, and you know what? I see so many people that don't get horses until they're 40, 50, 60 years old. And I am so happy that they get a horse, and I'm so happy whenever they have correct tack. And, you buy right, you buy once. So, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to buy a $10,000 saddle. I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. And, just don't buy junk, and don't think that the more money you spend, the better it's going to be. But buy right, buy once. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much for tuning into Big Boss Mare with Brandy Von Holten.